Hi guys, I hope everyone is doing great. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how I made this sleeveless dress with a ruffle across the chest. I'm going to be using my basic slopers front and back. And then I will sew a sample in muslin fabric, which is just 100% cotton fabric. In this video, I will not be showing you a finished dress, meaning I will not be showing you the zipper, the hem, or the facings on a dress, but instead I will be focusing on the pattern making and construction of the overall garment. I hope you guys like it. I'm going to be using my basic pattern slopers. I'm going to start by doing a shoulder adjustment, joining shoulder seam with shoulder seam and measuring 2 centimeters towards the front sloper. I trace a line and cut on that line. Now these 2 centimeters are part of my back sloper. This blouse will be sleeveless, so I need to remove the armhole ease. I'm going to do this with a dart. On the midpoint of the armhole, I draw a mark and measure 2 centimeters down and draw another mark. Then I draw the dart legs towards the apex and I have my armhole dart. From the center front neck, I measure the length of my blouse, which is 47 centimeters. I draw a curved line and cut. I'm going to cut on the midpoint line of my dart so that I can close my armhole dart. I now close my armhole dart. And I redraw this curve right here on the armhole. Now from the center front neck, I mark 14 centimeters down and I draw a curved line. This is where I will place the ruffle. With this in mind, you can draw this line wherever you need it. I draw some notches and cut on that line. I can now work on the bottom part. I'm going to be adding volume on the bottom part of the blouse only. I'll do this by adding 2 darts, one on center front and one in side front. My dart is 6 centimeters wide at the bottom, so I'm going to measure 6 centimeters out on my center front and 6 centimeters out on my side front. Then I'm going to draw a line from these new points towards the top of my blouse. I redraw my curved line. As we can see, the added volume is only at the bottom of the blouse. Here is my center front pattern that I will be cutting on the fold. Now let's work on the back. I'm going to draw the 2 centimeter dart just like I did on the front pattern. On the midpoint of my armhole, I'm going to insert a 2 centimeter dart. Okay, to draw the length of my blouse, I'm going to use my front pattern. I'm measuring on the side front from the waistline down and I get 12 centimeters. So I mark 12 centimeters from the side back waistline down. I draw a subtle curved line. Now I cut on the midpoint line of my dart and then close my armhole dart. I redraw this curved line. Now I'm going to use this top part of my center front blouse. I'm going to place it right side to right side on the armhole side seam. I mark and I draw a subtle curved line. I make my notches and cut. I can now add volume just like I did on my front sloper. I mark 6 centimeters out on my bottom center back and 6 centimeters out on my bottom side back. I draw a line to join these points to my top blouse. Now I'm going to join side seams to side seams so I can true my pattern. Now I can redraw my curved line at the hem. Okay, so now we have to cut a square to make this ruffle. We need this measurement. We need the circumference of the chest, or the area where you're actually going to sew the ruffle. In this case, I'm working with my dress form and it's 86 centimeters. So I'm going to multiply 86 centimeters times 1.5. That is, if you want this type of ruffle where it's not too much volume. I like a subtle ruffle, not too much volume. But if you want it more, you can multiply it by 2. I'm going to multiply 86 centimeters times 1.5 and we get 129 centimeters. So I cut a long rectangle of fabric that is 10 centimeters wide by 129 centimeters long. I fold it in half and I'm going to sew 2 seams to add the ruffles. I'm going to be using the longest stitch in my sewing machine, which is 5. I'm going to be leaving a long thread at the start and also at the end. And without back stitching, I will sew a seam at 1/2 centimeter seam allowance and my second seam in 1.5 seam allowance, also without back stitching. It's important to not back stitch on these 2 seams because I will be removing them at the end of the project. On both seams, I start pulling gently to create my ruffle. I pull on both sides to distribute until I get the ruffles that I want. I add seam allowance to my patterns. Here are my pattern pieces. 1 center front blouse top and 1 center front blouse bottom, which I have cut on the fold. 2 back blouses top and 2 back blouses bottom, and of course our ruffle. I place center front top with my top back pieces right side to right side, and I sew at the shoulder seams and my tiny side seams. Now I place bottom front blouse with back blouses right side to right side and sew at the side seams. Now I place my ruffle on the right side of the blouse I pin at the side seams and I distribute until it fits properly. Right here, I'm going to leave the ruffle as flat as I can so it's not bulky when I sew my center back. Now I'm going to sew at 1 centimeter seam allowance, which will be right in between my other two seams. Now I can remove the 2 long stitch seams. Finally, I can place my top blouse with my bottom blouse right side to right side and sew. And this is our blouse. I really hope that you guys like it, and I hope to see you soon in another video.